Some of the media not wasting any time at all speculating and slamming President Trump and Kanye West following their meeting in the Oval Office this week. Look at this.
I wonder went to what was going on in Trump's head. Let's take a look at him. Here's my educated guess, okay? Other than a warm serotonin flush of happy hormone, imaginary headlines, blacks love Trump, he's blacker than Obama. Clearly, his sensitivity is triggered by other concerns. Attention, praise, and some jaundiced notion of how to get black approval above the pathetic 10% it tends to track at.
Oh boy. Joining me now to react to the biggest media bias stories of the week, the Daily Signal's Kelsey Harkness. Good to have you here in person.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to put on the table, I'm friends with Chris Cuomo. I respect him as a journalist. I was actually honestly shocked that he likes to dig into things and try to get all sides, I think, to imagine what the president was thinking seemed bizarre.
It was bizarre. And look, we first had the media, including Chris Cuomo, mocking President Trump and mocking Kanye West for saying he felt like a Superman for wearing the MAGA hat. And then we have Cuomo saying, I have some sort of superpowers as well, the ability to read minds. But on a more serious note, I think this is really disappointing as a journalist to see someone speculating about what the president is thinking, speculating about accusing the president of
imaginary headlines, imaginary thoughts.
Accusing him of racism based on his own thoughts. I think it was extremely inappropriate. We're in a time where we are talking about evidence, the importance of that, and that applies to journalists too. There's no basis for that.
Here's another shocking media bias this week. A headline from The Hollywood Reporter. Stephen Miller's third grade teacher, he was a loner and ate glue. This is because it's about the White House senior advisor, of course, and one of his former teachers from when he was a kid, Nikki Fisk, was in the Washington Post saying, quote, I remember being concerned about him, not academically, but he had such strange personal habits. He was a loner and isolated and off by himself all the time. What in the world is a former teacher doing saying, I thought that this kid when he was in like third grade was a loner? It's disgusting.
It's incredibly inappropriate, and this teacher was suspended, rightly so. I personally think the teacher should be fired. The teacher is still getting pay right now. But look, we know Democrats and much of the mainstream media thought it was appropriate for Kavanaugh's yearbook, high school yearbook, to be used in his confirmation process. And that line was very questionable. Now we're going back to the third grade, and these are some legitimate news outlets doing this. There was a similar story about Stephen Miller in his third grade, published by Politico. This is really...
What was it, that he put glue on his hands and ate it or something?
Yeah, he was apparently building a wall on his desk. He also was a loner. I think we're at a time where teachers are telling parents to trust schools, trust our education system. How are we supposed to trust them when what your child does in third grade can be used against you?
What's the next scoop? Mike Pompeo ate Play-Doh or something. I mean, it's also
Didn't we all?
It's bizarre. Yeah, we all did it, right? Okay, the media, meanwhile, defending the mob behavior that we saw. There's this big debate about, was it mob behavior or not post-Kavanaugh? Watch this.
The president's Republican allies tried to channel their supporters' outrage over protests into a winning issue by casting Democrats as an angry mob.
Oh, you're not going to use the mob word here.
It's
a mob. Stop.
Is it mob behavior? No, it's not mob behavior.
Yes,
it's people who are upset and they're angry with the way the country is going.
There's no mob as dangerous to democracy as the ones he incites.
I love folks like Don Lemon, who are supposed to be journalists, saying, no, the left is not a mob, like declaring that they're fine. What they're doing is fine.
It seems like a lot of journalists need to actually go back and look at the definition of a mob. It's a group of people who intend on committing some sort of lawlessness. And that's exactly what these people are doing. Look what happened to Senator Ted Cruz and his wife when they were trying to dine in a nice D.C. restaurant. They weren't allowed to do that because a mob harassed them out of the restaurant. This is happening in airports. And the worst part,
there's videotape of it.
There's videotape of it. And the worst part of this is that we see leaders in the Democrat Party endorsing this behavior. That's the real problem.
Eric Holder, Hillary Clinton, and others, although they've said their words have been taken out of context. Kelsey Harkness, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right.